Hey, this is Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today I'll be showing you how to repair a bent radiator on your dirt bike. Okay guys, today we're talking about radiators. Now the radiators are one of the widest points on the bike. They're made out of aluminum, which means if you and the bike go down, they're really easy to get bent and twisted up. Now if you have gone down and these are bent up, your plastics can be hard to put on, and these cooling fins, they get smashed, making the radiator less effective. Now radiator braces and guards are a good way to prevent this from happening. But if you've gone down without these, then hindsight's always 20/20. So you have two options at this point. You can either repair or replace. So new radiators can be a little spendy, so we'll show you how to get the most out of your hard-earned money and repair a bent radiator. To do this job, we'll use some common hand tools, including a soft-faced mallet or dead blow hammer, a small screwdriver, a speed square. You'll definitely want to use some safety glasses, and we'll be using some blocks of wood. Now, we'll also need some coolant to fill the bike up when we're done. Something I want to point out is that not all radiators will be repairable. If you find yourself in this situation, we do have several different replacement options available on our website. Our favorite is this Tusk radiator that gives a great value and works awesome. Now, whether you have new radiators or not, it's always a good idea to have some radiator braces. We have several different options on our website. Now, I'll head over to the workbench and we'll get started. The first thing we need to do is get this thing squared up. And what I mean by that is aligning this bottom piece with the top, making a perfect rectangle all the way around. Now how we'll check that is with our speed square, and we might not even need to look at it on this. It's pretty obviously off. This upper piece is bent quite a bit over. So what we'll do, we'll put this part into the vise and hit it with our soft face mallet into alignment. As we put the radiator into the vise, there's a couple things I want to point out. One being that we're using soft jaws, and two, this part of the radiator is what needs to move over, but we have this fitting here and I don't want to hammer on that side. So we'll put this into the vise and we'll hammer on this top side. When you tighten the radiator into the vise, make sure that you only tighten it just enough to hold the radiator and not enough to where you're actually causing more damage to it. Now after that, we can take our soft face mallet or dead blow hammer and lightly tap the top until it lines up. And when we do this, we'll actually be holding the bottom of the radiator, making sure it doesn't pop out of place. As we get closer, we can again use our speed square and check to see where we're really at. Now that we've got this thing fairly close to square for what it is right now, we'll go ahead and work on straightening the rest of the radiator up. And then towards the end, we'll double check everything, and if we need to make more adjustments then, we will do it. The next thing we need to do is straighten the edges of our radiator. Now to do this, we'll use a wood block and a hammer, and we'll go carefully along these edges and slowly work it until it's straight. Now, we need to do that on both sides of the radiator, both on this edge, this side, and then the same thing on this other rail right here. As you can see, this thing's starting to shape up pretty good. Now, a tip to do this is to go just a little bit at a time and work slowly throughout the process, and it should start to come back into its shape. Now, on this other side, you can see this really good. We're looking pretty good all the way along this side. It's fairly square, but this top is still kind of bent out. So we're going to go ahead and put this back into the vise and see if we can get this top to come in a little bit. Again, you can use a speed square while you're doing this, and we'll just keep going until we feel like it's pretty square. All right guys, so you can go through these two steps of squaring and straightening out these sides as many times as you need to. So I want to get these sides a little more straight, so I'll continue to work on these. And after we do that, we'll go after these fins and get these all straightened out. Now keep in mind, you'll probably won't get this perfect. You want to get it close enough to where it can fit back in the bike and work properly. To straighten the radiator fins out, it's pretty simple, but it'll take a little bit of patience. Now, our fins on this end are pretty mangled up, so we'll have to straighten those out with a screwdriver. If your radiator is in better condition, you can use one of these Helix Racing radiator fin straightening tools. And what this does, it'll help you clean up any minor dings or any bugs and debris, that kind of thing, out of the radiator fins. So we'll go ahead and take our screwdriver and get started on straightening these fins out. Another adjustment you might have to make is if your radiator is twisted from side to side, you want to straighten that up. And how you do it is you'll put the base in the soft jaws on your vise, and then you just take your hands and you just need to sight down from the top and use a little hand pressure and just apply a little pressure until it's straight. And that's all there is to straightening your radiator out. The last step will be to install it on the bike and check for any leaks. Now, it is possible to bench test this, but most people won't have the special equipment to do that. So we recommend just putting it on the bike, check for leaks before you start the bike, and then stay away from the radiator while you run it, but you'll shut it off, check for leaks again, and make sure you're always wearing safety glasses too when you do this, because a hot radiator will be under pressure and you don't want to get your face burned. Now, the other thing, if you notice anything weird in these inspections, like damaged radiator hoses or the radiator is not holding the coolant, you'll definitely want to get those replaced. If you do need any parts, we have a wide variety of OEM and aftermarket parts on our website. So be sure to check that out. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.